The 9/11 attacks were revolutionary because the terrorists were able to get through weak airport security to carry out the deadliest attack on American soil. The shocking events of 9/11 caused fear, chaos, and strong reactions from the American people and the government. After 9/11, the United States reformed national security by creating new agencies, increasing airport security, and expanding surveillance to prevent future attacks. Before 9/11, airport security in the United States was very relaxed. Passengers did not go through strict screening, and family members were allowed to walk all the way to the gates. Small knives were even allowed on the planes. Terrorism was not seen as a serious threat inside the country. Before 9/11, many Americans believed that terrorism mostly happened in other countries. People felt safe at home and did not expect an attack on U.S. soil. Because of this, the government did not focus enough on preventing large attacks inside the country. Al-Qaeda was the terrorist group responsible for planning 9/11. They believed the United States was their enemy and spent years preparing the attack. Their goal was to cause fear, chaos, and damage to the American way of life. The terrorists were able to enter the United States legally and move around without being stopped. They took flight lessons and lived normal lives while secretly preparing for the attacks. This shows how unprepared the system was. Before 9/11, the CIA and FBI did not share information well. Some warning signs were missed because agencies were not working together. This made it harder to stop the attacks before they happened. The terrorists took flight lessons in the United States before 9/11. They trained at American flight schools and learned how to control large planes. No one suspected their real intentions, which shows how easily they blended in and avoided attention. Weak airport security, missed warning signs, and terrorist planning all came together. These problems created the situation that allowed 9/11 to happen. This led to a major reaction and later reforms in national security. On the morning of September 11, 2001, 19 terrorists were able to pass through airport security with box cutters and knives, showing major weaknesses in the U.S. aviation security system. At the time, airport screening was handled by private companies with low training, making it easier for dangerous items to get through. This failure is what allowed the attacks to begin. After passing through security, the hijackers boarded 4 commercial airplanes heading to different locations across the United States. Passengers and crew had no idea that these flights would soon be turned into weapons. This moment shows how normal the day seemed. At 8:45 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. At first, many people thought it was an accident, but confusion quickly turned into fear as smoke poured from the building. This was the start of a national tragedy.
It's difficult to find the words to describe the feeling in New York City today. New York City is in shock. One of its most famous landmarks destroyed, thousands dead, and America is under siege. Nathan King, SABC, New York.
17 minutes later, United Airlines Flight 175 hit the South Tower, proving that the attack was planned and intentional. At this point, the nation realized it was under attack. People across the country watched in shock as the second plane struck live on television. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon, the headquarters of the U.S. military. This showed that the attack was not only on civilians, but also on the government itself. The fear and panic spread even more as people worried about what target would be next. Meanwhile, passengers on United Airlines Flight 93 learned about the earlier attacks and fought back against the hijackers. The plane crashed into a field in Pennsylvania, preventing another target from being hit. Their actions showed bravery in the middle of chaos. As the towers burned, both the North and South Towers eventually collapsed, killing thousands of people and covering the city in dust and debris. First responders rushed in to help, even when they knew the danger. This moment changed the United States forever, leading to massive reactions and reforms in national security. As the attacks continued, air traffic controllers across the country became overwhelmed as planes went off course and communication was lost. The Federal Aviation Administration made the unprecedented decision to ground all flights in the U.S. airspace. This was the first time in history that every plane was ordered to land immediately. In New York City, firefighters, police officers, and emergency workers rushed toward the World Trade Center to help people escape. Many of them did not make it out. Their actions showed the nation's immediate reaction of courage and sacrifice during the crisis. As news spread, schools were locked down. Government buildings were evacuated, and people were sent home from work. Across the country, families gathered around televisions trying to understand what was happening. The entire nation was reacting in real time to an attack that had never been experienced before. Another major reaction was the creation of the Transportation Security Administration, also known as TSA. Airport security became much stricter, with metal detectors, bag checks, and ID screenings becoming normal for every traveler. Before 9/11, people could go to the gate with family and bring almost anything on planes. After the attacks, that freedom was taken away. This shows how daily life was reformed because of the fear of terrorism. The government also passed the Patriot Act, which allowed more surveillance to track possible terrorists. Phone calls, emails, and online activity could now be monitored more easily. This was a big reform that changed privacy in America. Security also increased at schools, stadiums, and government buildings. Guards, cameras, and metal detectors became common. This shows how 9/11 caused a security revolution across the entire country. All of these changes prove that 9/11 did not just cause a short reaction, it created long-lasting reforms that still affect how Americans live, travel, and feel about safety today. Even more than 20 years later, 9/11 still affects everyday life in America. Security lines, bag checks, and ID requirements are all normal now because of what happened that day. The Department of Homeland Security continues to protect the country by monitoring threats and responding to emergencies. This shows how 9/11 led to permanent changes in government structure. 9/11 was revolutionary because it completely changed how the U.S. protects itself. The reaction was immediate, and the reforms were permanent. In conclusion, 9/11 changed national security, government power, and daily life forever. It proves that one event can force a nation to change in ways that last for generations.